Hey, here's Chicago's real estate update through August of 2025. Here's my big piece of advice. Be careful where you get your news. I'm not going to dangle scary headlines in front of you to try to get more viewers. And I'm not going to give you one big piece of information for the country because you know what? Chicago right now is very different from what's going on in the rest of the United States. We're going to look at that comparison as well as what's going on. Chicago real estate is hyper local, and this report's going to show you that. First of all, home price trends are varying significantly between the different metro areas in terms of this year versus last year. If you look at Chicago home prices, we continue to rise. In fact, we are number 6 of all the 50 metro areas in terms of price increases year over year. And you can see toward the right, the red, those are where home prices are declining. I'm happy to report our home prices are not declining. In part, this is because the difference between the number of buyers and sellers in the marketplace. That means that there continues to be pressure on inventory, which is making prices increase. If you see in the South, they have significantly more sellers than they have buyers, and that's what's impacting their prices. So again, what's going on in Chicago is very different. So when you hear headlines, be careful where you're hearing them from. All right. Housing inventory. So we have year over year in blue, sorry. And we have 5-year pre-pandemic numbers. So you can see in the Midwest that year over year inventory is growing, but versus the pandemic, way low. We're 40% below pre-pandemic inventory. And you're going to see that bear out in the city of Chicago when I get to it in a moment. So we're going to look first at single-family homes. You know the drill. This is the lakefront marketplace between South Loop and Edgewater, the lakefront and a little bit west, including Westtown, Wicker Park, Bucktown, Logan Square, North Center, Lincoln Square. Getting faster at that every month. All right. In the month of August, 89 homes closed. Not a big number, folks. And in fact, it was lower than the month before. Not a surprise. We have our monthly trends. Homes under contract, only 68. And that's really low as well. Here's where the numbers really come through. Only 136 homes on the market right now. That is the lowest number in recent memory. So as many buyers as there are out there, there are only right now 136 homes to choose from. That, of course, is creating an increase in the median sales price. $1,490,000 is now the median sales price, and that's up 44% over 5 years. We're hitting a high water mark. That equates to a 1.7 month supply, meaning it only takes 1.7 months to sell out given the rate of sale. And remember, 5.5 to 6 months is a static market, neither a buyer nor a seller market. So very tough. And then when you break it down by neighborhood, it's even more interesting to look at. You can see that in Lincoln Park, there's not even a month of inventory for single-family homes right now. Westtown has 1.4 months. There are areas of the city, obviously, that have more because our current average is 1.7 months. But let me say this, luxury is a bit slower. If you look at the $3-4 million price homes, especially like in the near north area, those have a higher inventory and are not selling as quick. If you look at the detached sales year to date, these are the number of units that have closed January through August this year versus last year and the year before during the same time periods. So far, 1,003 have closed year to date. That's up 5% versus last year, which was up 4% versus the year before. So even despite the fact that we have very low inventory, the number of sales is increasing a little bit. Let's switch over. Let's look at attached. That's condos, co-ops, townhomes. Last month, 900 closed. That was down from the month before, down from the previous 5 years for an August, as you can see on the graph. Under contract, 757, and there are only 1,745 for sale. That is the lowest of any month except for December of 2024. But other than that, again, very little inventory. In fact, equates to 2.1 months. But let me show you here on the graph, it varies greatly by neighborhood. In attached, you see a greater disparity between inventory and neighborhoods. And it even varies by micro neighborhood. For example, You'll see near north side here has 3.2 months worth of inventory. That can vary between River North, Gold Coast, Streeterville, and parts of Old Town within the 8008 census tract. But the Loop right now, highest inventory at 3.8 months worth of supply. That doesn't even include the shadow inventory of new construction at the St. Regis and the Cirrus, where not everything's on the market right now. On the other hand, if you look at Lincoln Park, less than a month's supply. It is really, really hard to get yourself into a condo in Lincoln Park these days. So again, try to get yourself in touch with a realtor who really understands the market and can help you get into the home that you're looking to buy. Highest price in history for attached, $465,000 is the median price in these lakefront neighborhoods. And year to date, again, outpacing the previous 2 years, 10,000 properties have closed. That's up 1% from year before, which is up almost 1% from the year before that. All right, mortgage rates are softening. Last week, we reported 6.65% interest rate. We're now down to an average of 6.5, according to Freddie Mac. And as you know, over the past 40 years, we've averaged 7.74. So 6.5 is a fairly good number, and it's pretty static. Where are they going? Well, your guess is as good as mine. And every year when they predict, they don't come through exactly accurately. But there is like less of a disparity between those who are predicting where interest rates are going. And generally speaking, by fourth quarter next year, they're anticipating rates are going to be somewhere between 6 and 6.6. Not a huge amount of interest rate difference. So now could be a very good time to think about getting into the marketplace. There's no reason to worry about timing your sale. All right, just to put it in perspective, let's talk about rents. The median rent in the city is $2,180. Now, this is not lakefront communities. I'm backing it out because I don't have statistics locally. So $2,180 for all of Chicago, that's $2.76 per square foot. If you look at it by bedrooms, the one bedroom of $2,111 is down a little bit from last year. This is a typical. We tend to have our higher prices in the spring with rentals, just like we do in sales. If you look at it by neighborhood, this is just a few of them. Near North Side, $2,972 per month is the highest, followed closely by the Near West Side at $2,920. Keep in mind, this is for apartment buildings. And if you're looking to rent, you're going to find cheaper on a price per square foot basis if you lease a condo from a seller, and those are available through the MLS. So you can talk to me or your agent to find out more about how to get a better value in renting a condominium in the city or a townhouse. That's the story. That's what's going on in the city. It is really important to price your property right. Sellers, let me tell you this, you cannot just put a price on and say, the market is great, it's a seller's market, I'm going to put just any price on and it's going to sell. That is not happening. If that were happening, then you'd have zero inventory right now. But we do have properties that are on the market because either they're in a neighborhood that's not flying or because they're overpriced given their condition and location. So that is in a nutshell what's happening in the local marketplace. If you have questions, if you need help, please reach out. I'm Ann Rossley with Beard & Warner, and let's connect.